In this video, we are going to discuss key points from recent Supreme statements, especially in context of tax. Chancellor of the Exchequer, Richard Reeves, held a Supreme statement on Wednesday, 26th of March 2025. Chancellor confirms that she is committed to one major event per fiscal year, which obviously helps families and businesses in terms of more stability and upcoming changes in tax and government spendings. And in turn, it will help government growth and mission. And Chancellor did meet her commitments that there would be no major tax events per fiscal year. However, tax is only one side of the equation, and the other side is government spending. And Supreme statement confirms several measures have been taken in terms of government spending, which includes cuts to the welfare state, cuts to civil services, and increase in defense budget. And there were also announcements regarding making tax digital for income taxpayers. And Chancellor did confirm that growth is a central mission for Labour Party. The government is planning to build 1.5 million homes across England, which definitely provide approximately 60,000 skilled workers with a construction package of 625 million pounds. Now, let's have a look on tax side. The first point we are looking into it is a personal tax. Basic rate of tax is 20%. For 25-26 year, the band of income taxable at this rate is 37,700, so that the threshold at which 40% rate applies is 50,270 pound. Those who are entitled to full personal allowance. The basic rate band is frozen at 37,700 until April 2028. The NSE's upper earning limit and upper profit limit will remain aligned to the higher rate threshold at 50,270 pound for these tax years as well. The government has suggested that from April 2028, these limits will then be operated in line with inflation. For 25-26 tax year, the taxpayer on which he is going to pay additional rate of 45% is 125,140 pound. However, there are no changes for taxations of savings and dividends for 25-26 tax year. Now, let's have a look on personal allowance. The income tax personal allowance is fixed at the current level of 12,570 pound until April 2028. The government has suggested that from April 2028, it will be operated in line with inflation. There is a reduction in personal allowance for those with adjusted net income over 100k. The reduction is 1 pound for every 2 pound of income above 100k. This means that there is no personal allowance where adjusted income exceeds 125,140 pound. The government will operate the merit cap allowance and blinds personal allowance for 2025-26 tax year. The merit cap allowance could reduce your tax bill between 436 pound and 1,127 pound a year. And blind person's allowance will be increased from 3,070 pound to 3,130 pound from 2024-25 tax year to 25-26 tax year respectively. So in my previous videos, you can see links up here. I have already explained personal allowance in more detail and even how you can manage to avoid a reduction in personal allowance. So you must watch these videos up there. On top of this, I have already created a pension series in which I have covered a lot of topics. So in Supreme statements, there are not much major changes, but still we can cover these here. For 2025-26, the annual pension allowance is 60,000 pound. Individuals who have threshold income for a tax year of greater than 200,000 pound have the annual allowance for the tax year restricted. It is reduced by 1 pound for every 2 pound of adjusted income over over £260,000 to a maximum of annual allowance of £10,000. The lump sum allowance, which relates to the general maximum that may be able to be taken as a tax-free lump sum, is £286,275. The lump sum and death benefit allowance, which relates to the general maximum that may be able to be taken as a tax-free lump sum in certain circumstances, is £1,073,100. However, significant changes are made for non-UK domicile individuals. Broadly, from 6th April 2025, the current system of domicile will be abolished and replaced by a system which is called residence-based system. The new regime will provide 100% relief on foreign income and gains for new arrivals to the UK in their first 4 years of tax residence, provided they have not been UK tax resident in any of the 10 consecutive years prior to their arrivals. Now, let's discuss employee and employer national insurance contribution. The government has announced that they are going to increase employer national insurance contribution from 13.8% to 15% from 6 April 2025. The main rate of employee national insurance contribution is 8%. The secondary threshold is the point at which employers become liable to pay NIC on an individual employee's earning and is currently set at £9,100 a year. The government will reduce the secondary threshold to £5,000 a year from 6th April 2025 until 6th April 2028 and then increase it by consumer price index thereafter. The employment allowance currently allows businesses with employer NIC bill of £100,000 or less in the previous tax year to deduct £5,000 from their employer NIC bill. From 6th April 2025, the government will increase the employment allowance from £5,000 to £10,500 and remove the £100,000 threshold for eligibility, expanding this to all eligible employers with employer NIC bill. From 6th April 2025, Class 4 self-employed NIC rates are 6% and 2% for self-employed people. And for Class 2 NIC from 6th April 2025, self-employed people with profits of £6,845 and above get access to contributory benefits, including the state pension, through a national insurance credit without paying Class 2 NIC. Those with profits under £6,845 and others who pay Class 2 NIC voluntary to get access to contributory benefits, including the state pension, will continue to be able to do so. The government has announced national minimum wage and national living wage, which will come into force from 1st of April 2025. The rates will be as follows. National living wage will be £12.21 per hour. For people 18 to 20, the rate will be £10. For people 16 to 17, the rate will be 7.55. And for apprentices, the rate will be 7.55. Now, let's look into the capital gain tax. The capital gains tax rates increased from disposal other than of residential property and carried interest made on or after 30 October 2024. The basic rate 10% increased to 18% and the 20% rate increased to 24%. No changes were made to the rates applied to the disposal of residential properties of 18% and 24%. The capital gains annual exemption will be remain £3,000 for 25-26 tax year. Now, let's have a look on business asset disposal relief for investors. The rate applying for individuals claiming business assets disposal relief and investors relief will increase from 10% to 14% for disposals made on or after 6 April 2025. The rate will increase again to 18% 18% for disposals made on or after 6 April 2026. In addition, the lifetime limit for investors relief reduced from £10 million to £1 million for qualifying disposals made on or after 30 October 2024. This limit takes into account any qualifying gains with the relief was claimed. Sorry guys, I can't do anything to be honest. Rates are increasing massively from 10% to 14% in this tax year, which is 24-25, and from 14% to 18% in next tax year, which is 25-26 tax year. Actually is like matching with the standard rate of 18% for the residential properties. That's it really. But we can't do anything to be honest. Now let's have a look on inheritance tax. In this section there are three rates discussed. Number one obviously is inheritance tax near rate bands. The near rate band has been frozen at £325,000 since 2009, and this will continue to be frozen up to 5 April 2030. An additional near rate band called the residence near rate band is also frozen at the current £175,000 level, as this is the resident near rate band taper starting at 2 million. These are also frozen up till 5th of April 2030. Now let's have a look on unused pension and death benefits. The government will bring unused pension funds and death benefits payable from a pension into a person's state for inheritance tax purposes from 6 April 2027. Agriculture, property relief and business property relief. From 6 April 2026, agriculture and business property will continue to be benefit from the 100% inheritance tax relief up to limit of £1 million. The limit is to be combined limit for both agriculture and business property. Property in excess of the limit will benefit from 50% relief, as will in all circumstances quoted share design designated as not listed on the markets of recognized stock exchange such as alternative investment markets. Now let's have a look on most important topic, which is MTD for IT, making tax digital for income taxpayers. This is so important topic and I decided to record a separate video on it. However, let's have a quick recap here. The government has announced a quarterly reporting for self-employed and landlord with qualifying earnings of more than £50,000. So please stay tuned and watch my next video on MTD for IT. Let's quickly go through corporation tax rates, even though there's nothing much change, but I thought it's good to have a quick summary of corporation tax rates. The government has confirmed that the rates of corporation tax will remain unchanged, which means that from April 2025, the rate will stay at 25% for companies with profits over £250,000. The 19% small profits rate will be payable by companies with profits between £50,000 and £250,000 will pay tax at the main rate reduced by a marginal relief, providing a gradual increase in the effective corporation tax rate. The government has committed to capping the main rate of corporation tax at 25% for the duration of the parliament. This is currently the lowest in the G7. There have been nothing much change in capital allowances, so I thought it's better to just skip and then move to the next topic. So the next topic is furnished holiday lettings. Furnished holiday letting regime has been abolished from April 2025. Again, this is so important topic. So I'm planning to record a separate video on this. So stay tuned. The next week will be for MTD for IT, and after that video I'll be planning to upload a video on furnished holiday lettings, which will be with the topic of like what does it mean for you when the government has abolished furnished holiday letting scheme. So stay tuned. Now second last topic for our discussion is VAT registration threshold. From April 2025, the VAT registration threshold remains at £90,000 and the deregistration threshold at £88,000. And finally, last point is removal of VAT from school fees. Private school fees for education and vocational training will no longer benefit from VAT exemption and are subject to VAT at the standard rate 20%. The change applies to terms beginning on or after 1st January 2025, although certain prepayments made after 29 July are also included. I hope now you have understood spring statement. However, I always said that if you don't understand anything, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below in the section, and I would be more than happy to come back to you and explain whatever the question will be. As always, hand ahead, salute until the next video.